you know the character and personality of President Xi. How is he likely to react to this? Because 125%, I think it's unprecedented, isn't it?
Well, I can confidently predict that he won't be posting anything on social media in capital letters. The Chinese have a playbook for this, and Xi Jinping will not let it be personalized. He is a trained communist cadre, drilled in Marxist-Leninist discipline, and they have already determined a set of responses. So they will respond to Trump, I imagine, by reciprocal raise in tariffs, but they will not panic. They will keep calm and carry on because they believe they can hold out on this and they can come out on top in the long run.
Now, I don't know much about the Chinese economy, but given the amount of Chinese exports to the US that there are, I mean, this will have presumably a massive immediate effect on a lot of people in China, because if they can't export their goods because Americans, they're effectively being priced out of America, they're not going to have a livelihood.
Think about it. There's a time lag on all these economic measures. The ships are on the seas. The deals have been done. The prices have been costed in. Remember, Xi Jinping and his acolytes have in the last few weeks made very clear that they are not going to be threatened and they're not going to give in. And they have reason for that. Yes, this is a very big, important bilateral relationship, but actually the United States accounts for only about 15% of China's trade. If you look
quite a lot, though.
Yes, and it's very strategic and it's very significant. And China depends greatly on American imports, not least for food and grains and items like that. So it was long said by economists and bankers that the two were in mutually assured destruction when it came to their economies, and Trump is now testing this to the limits. But I think it is a mistake to think that Xi Jinping will rise to the bait. They will be patient, they will be determined, and they have their own longer game, which they are playing.
Because there is a lot of interdependence here, isn't there? If you look at Apple, one of the biggest companies in America, you look at Apple computers, phones, a lot of the components come from China. They can't be sourced from elsewhere. So there'll be huge corporations in America thinking, oh my God, what do we do?
Well, classical economists will tell you that the iPhone, the Apple phone, is the illustration of the absurdity of tariffs, because so many of its components are made in China, made in other sourcing countries, assembled in China, designed in California, all of those things. How would you measure the value in a globalized supply chain? So it was almost emblematic about why this won't work in the long run. But it's not about that. It's about a power struggle between Trump and the Chinese leadership, and between the United States and China for who is going to dominate trans-Pacific trade in this century.
Somebody said to me over the weekend that if this trade war gets worse, just watch China and it could bring the invasion of Taiwan a little bit closer, so China can make a statement to the United States. You might think that you're the all-powerful superpower here, but here's a bit of military power that we can exert.
We're ignoring all the things they've already done. The more important thing than raising their tariffs was banning or controlling the export of sensitive rare earth minerals, which are vital to American weapon systems, including the F-35 fighter, submarines, missile guidance systems, and so on. So this is a war on many fronts for the Chinese. And remember, the communists teach struggle. It's all about defeating your opponent by any means possible. And they have unveiled a set of punitive measures against American companies, against American traders in China, and again by choking the supply of rare earths, which are literally that.
Do you think sometimes we need to remind people that China is ruled by a communist party, and we need to understand a little bit more about what that means? Because I suspect a lot of people listening to this program now are seeing America as the bad guy in this, and to an extent they're right on tariffs. And will therefore feel rather sorry for China, which will be music to the ears of the Chinese.
Well, I sat in the Great Hall of the People and watched Xi Jinping presiding over his utterly obedient parliament, legislature, whatever you want to call it. Yes, it's a one-party state. It's a dictatorship. power has accrued to one man uniquely in the last 5 or 10 years. That's been unseen for a long time. So you don't mess with this system, and it is a very rigid system. We need to remember what we're dealing with, and parliamentarians here like Ian Duncan Smith and Tom Tugendhat quite rightly making that clear again and again and again.
And they've been banned from China.
Well, they've been sanctioned by China, banned by China. It's very difficult. Look, I followed 3 prime ministers around China over the years, and they were all going through the same routine of making nice, talking up trade, not offending their hosts, and keeping the nasty stuff behind closed doors. You have to keep trying. I'm long-term optimistic about China. I think it will emerge from Xi Jinping's imperial rule. But for the moment, you have to be determined and firm and keep your nerve while these turbulent times go on.